All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, Roy, Grotto EZ, Storm on Saturn, and HKB. What is up, everybody? So let's go ahead and jump into Bitcoin and crypto for today. Not too much is happening. We are continuing that push to the upside. Yesterday during the stream, as the stream was happening, we were coming down to our VWAP here. We did bounce from the VWAP, and we've kind of just been starting to form this ascending channel grind in here where I do suspect that Bitcoin is starting to lose some steam, and we could see a grind up until we hit that 786 around 115.1, 115.2. But we are developing multiple timeframes of bear divs. Oh, Sudeep, welcome in. Thank you for modding. Nicholas, Pierce, Roth, JWCD, welcome in, everybody. So yeah, Bitcoin is continuing the push above the volume profile, above our bottoming range here, and we are continuing up to our next level of resistance, being that 786 just above us at about 115, 150-ish. Let's see, it's at, 115, 163, let's say. But yeah, starting to lose some steam, and we are seeing on the charts right now multiple time frames of bearish divergence here. You can see on NAMI and Market Cipher B, we're seeing that bearish divergence. We're also seeing bearish divergence on the money flow here on NAMI and Market Cipher B. If we zoom into the 30-minute chart, you can see on that 30-minute chart, we do have the multiple drives of bear divs, money flow crossing over into the red, about to cross over into the red again for NAMI. And let's zoom out to the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart, we have bear divs between these highs here, but the money flow still looks relatively good here. And with just one drive of 2-hour bear divs, lower time frame bear divs, what I'm going to be looking for over the next day or 2 days here, maybe through the end of the week, starting into next weekend, through the weekend, starting into next week, is maybe a push up to the 786, a rejection, allowing our smaller time frame bear divs to play out, a push back down, maybe even to back test that value area high and that anchored VWAP that we broke above yesterday, and then a continuation of a push up to that 116K area, where after we hit into this 116K area, I really am expecting for this bigger dead cat rally or relief rally to maybe be done with, and to see the overall larger correction to the downside continue here. We want to see the money flow on the 2-hour, the 4-hour starting to top out and starting to come to the downside with the bear divs still confirmed. And you can see money flow on the 4-hour is still looking pretty healthy here. Overall still rising. We are seeing bear divs on the 4-hour between our prior highs here, but not really locally. So more regional bear divs forming on the charts. And NAMI is setting up for some bear divs, but that money flow there is still looking strong on the 4-hour. So overall, I think Bitcoin is going to continue to slowly grind to the upside, but we can expect pullbacks because of low time frame bear divs that are forming, and then we can expect a bigger dump or a bigger reversal coming soon. And that might not play out for a couple days, but we'll just kind of have to see. Next Wednesday is the FOMC rate decision, and that is going to be a key time in the markets. We really are going to have to pay attention to next week. Going into next week, if we only get a 25% rate cut, which is already kind of baked into the price here, then we could see, instead of bullish scenario, we could see a bearish scenario play out. Okay, welcome in Thomas, Travis, Maddie, Chad P, welcome in. Abir, good morning, Abir, how are you? 111.7. Okay, yeah, that you're looking for a move quite a ways down. Now, I do think that if we do break this 113K area of support down in this area here, we're going to see a bigger there yet. I'd expect to hit at least the 786. And then if we lose that value area high, honestly, I think this whole relief rally could be done with, and we could be dropping, or we could even see a bigger drop from, if we would pull a fib from the bottom of the rally to the 786 or wherever we reject from, and we would be looking at that local golden pocket area. So around the value area low, around that 110. And some key liquidity resting down here as well. Some areas of interest. Yes, everyone, please hit the like button. If you get anything out of this video, please hit the like button. We'll go through some altcoins today as well. Some of the altcoins are pumping nicely. Solana is really doing well. And I did talk about Solana pushing up to that 232 area, 232 to 238. And I do think it is going to continue kind of this grind to the upside to get up to that area. We're seeing AVAX at very, very key resistance right now, but nice push to the upside over the past week or so, couple of weeks, now at a very key resistance. And we'll talk about AVAX, we'll talk about Solana. XRP is still kind of just chopping around in our resistance area. But if we can break out of this and flip this to support, then I do think it will continue much, much higher. And I just see that I spelled monthly wrong. Chainlink is at that key resistance of that pitchfork midline. We're really fighting with it, but it is not wanting to see a drop just yet. We are forming bear divs on multiple time frames on a lot of these coins. So we'll cover some of this stuff. Let's just go ahead and let's go to Bitcoin dominance real quick. On Bitcoin dominance, you can see dominance is dropping now. And let's go to the 12-hour chart. We are still rejecting from that golden pocket. Now, this golden pocket was a bullish golden pocket, meaning that it was pulled from the lows, our last major lows, to our highs, coming down to that golden pocket. We wanted to see a bounce, but we broke through that golden pocket a few weeks ago, and now we are having trouble reclaiming it. Anytime you kind of hover like this and create this bearish rising wedge or ascending channel, trying to recover that golden pocket, it's not a good look. And I do think that Bitcoin dominance could be dropping down soon. We really could pull our channel and look at this here. And if we start to really truly break this down, I think we're going to continue breaking down on dominance, meaning the altcoins are going to run against Bitcoin. And we're already seeing the start of that now today. So Bitcoin, maybe a small grind to the upside, slow in this, and, you know, overall in this bottoming range, this bigger bottoming range that we've been in, that I've been talking about. And then we'll see a big drop. It's a high probability that this correction is not done with. Let's just say that. And then with that, though, the altcoins, while Bitcoin is kind of grinding in this area over the next couple of weeks, altcoins could really start to take off. If we look at the total market cap is at a resistance, but I want it to come a little bit higher. And if the altcoins are pushing up while Bitcoin is kind of doing its sideways grind, or maybe, you know, upwards a little bit grind, we could continue on that total market cap to actually hit into, you know, the value area high golden pocket above us, even coming to grab that internal liquidity resting here at 3.97 trillion, giving a couple weeks of nice altcoin trades that we could be looking for. Okay, let me check the chat. Okay, cool. Yeah, so kind of a boring day still with Bitcoin. We are, you know, yesterday during the stream, we were in this general area here. We did bounce from that VWAP. Now, in yesterday's stream, we were looking to come down just a little bit lower to hit that value area high at 113K. But we did bounce from that VWAP. And yesterday in the live stream, I did talk about how Coinbase VWAPs are the VWAPs to watch. Coinbase volume levels really are the levels to watch. They're highly respected, more than Bybit, in my opinion. If we look at Bybit, you did not hit the VWAP yesterday. You did come down to that Bybit value area high, though. Let's see. Let's just pull that right there. Yeah, Bybit value area high. So we're overall in the grand scheme of things, what is happening? We had this bottoming range here that was forming, hitting into key pitchfork midline support. Got some bullish market structure in here. Had a three-wave move to the downside here, a corrective move. Pushed up again, made new highs, and we're just continuing the overall bullish market structure. But yesterday, breaking above the value area high of this bottoming range here and coming back down and back testing it as support and holding it locally as support means that we're going to continue this push up until our next significant resistance, until our next level of significant resistance, which the 786 is a good level to be watching. Let's turn on our naked daily points of controls here. Let me zoom out on this just a bit. There we go. Okay, so looks like we are hitting that naked daily point of control on Bybit here at about 114.6, 114.7. Let's check Coinbase real quick, see if Coinbase's has been hit. Yeah, and Coinbase already has been hit as well. So just above us, we do have that 786. We're at, on Bybit's naked daily point of control, we're at it right now. And this, the way that the bear divs are forming on the chart on lower time frames, we could see a bit of a pullback from where this naked daily point of control is. And in that case, I would just be looking at continuing that grind within that channel. Let's pull this back. There we go. Hit that naked daily point of control. And if we pull the channel here on Bybit, now Bybit's wick to the downside was a little bit bigger, so this, we'll do this instead here. There you go. There's that channel. I expect this to continue to grind and maybe a move to the bottom of the channel right now because we're rejecting from that naked daily point of control with some bearish divs on low time frames. But overall, this kind of structure that we see towards the end of a pump, you get your nice initial pump here, and then towards the end, you start to get exhaustion that comes in, exhaustion in the buying. And you often form these grinding ascending channels or rising wedges that take place. And then ultimately, after hitting into your next significant resistance, you will see a breakdown of that structure. So that's kind of just what I'm waiting for on Bitcoin. It's slow. It's boring today. It is getting close to the weekend. We still have tomorrow. Still have the rest of today. But we're seeing signs that exhaustion is occurring here. And maybe a bit of a pullback is going to come. Honestly, that's about it for Bitcoin. I mean, let's go into our order flow real quick and let's check out our order flow. Looks like locally we are forming some bullish CVD absorption here. Higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the CVD, and your open interest is increasing here. So very locally, since the lows from yesterday, not yesterday, earlier today, we are seeing bullish CVD absorption. Let's see if we can't get that. There we go. All right, so with the bullish CVD absorption that we're seeing, I do think that if this VWAP can hold, you can see for most of the day, as we're coming down to that VWAP, we are holding it. Bounce from VWAP, bounce from VWAP, bounce from VWAP, bounce from VWAP here, and kind of just grinding in this channel structure. If we lose the VWAP, then those bear divs on the 1 hour and under will start to play out, and we'll start to get probably a bigger drop to the downside. And we also hit that naked daily point of control, which is a resistance level. But if we can see this, actually, we could even come down to the bottom of the channel and still have our bullish absorption intact because that's still a higher low there. Higher low. And then especially what we would want to see if we do come down to the bottom of that channel. And actually, let's look at where that's going to be around 113.6, let's say 113.6. So if we come down to 113.6, right about this area in here, then we could still see that bullish absorption playing out. You know, in this general area here, that grind down, you would still be seeing bullish absorption, and we'd want to see this CVD continue to kind of decrease here. Open interest. Now, this is the thing with the open interest, and I talk about this a lot on the channel. Anytime you see a pretty steady increase in open interest, like we're seeing right here, this is a pretty steady increase. If this open interest continues to drop too much longer, like this is pretty acceptable here. But if we continue to see a longer, prolonged drop in that open interest, then the bullish CVD absorption is far less likely to play out. So we're going to want to see new positions. That's what open interest is. It's just if new positions are opening or closing. If open interest is increasing, that means new positions are opening. If open interest is decreasing, that means positions are closing out. So we're seeing some positions close out right now, and we really want to see this open interest start to kind of continue to tick up here, overall making that rise in open interest as the CVD continues to keep dropping as well. There we go. All right, liquidation heat map. Let's go ahead and look at the last 48 hours here. You can see there is still liquidity resting above us. Now, we do have some new liquidity locally that's coming down to about that 111.2 area, and that is going to be below our value area low. Value area high. And if we do lose that value area high, sure, we could see a bounce from that 111K area of support, 111.3, 111.2, which is where the point of control of our range is. But I do think that if we fall back inside this volume profile here, then we are probably going to bounce from that area, but we could continue the downtrend. It could be just a lower high bounce before continuing the downtrend. So we'll see when that plays out. I actually don't expect us to lose this 113K quite yet. I do think we are going to continue to grind higher here locally. And really what I'm basing that on is the higher time frame money flows, intermediate time frame money flows. 6 hour is looking still pretty healthy here, but that 4 hour money flow, if we look at that 4 hour money flow, NAMI, it looks pretty steady and good now. And same with Market Cipher B. You can see that it's kind of trying to curve up here and continue. And what we usually see with this is something like this, where it will curve down for a little bit, curve up a little bit more. And we want to see lower highs being made in that money flow. And we're just not there yet. I think we're going to do something like this as we continue to grind to the upside, coming up to that like 115.2 to 116.2 area. Now, let's go back to the Coinbase chart and the next major resistance. Now, the 786 is a resistance level. 786s are often respected in ranges, and this could be considered a bigger range in here. Actually, it's not that range. It's this range in here. But I do think that the more important level is above us, that 116.2, which is the value area low of our previous range, this 6-week range that broke down. And then we also have the monthly naked point of control that's at 116.6. If we go ahead and turn on that naked monthly point of control, you can see we have a naked monthly point of control, which is a high time frame volume level of resistance. So that is kind of the main area. Of course, if we get above that, then I'll be expecting us to come all the way up to the 117.6 to like 118K, where we have, point of control of our range. We have a naked weekly point of control up there. What am I doing here? Naked weekly point of control. I'll turn off those at 117.8. And we have our golden pocket up here as well. If we pull our golden pocket from the all-time highs to the lows, you can see that golden pocket right next to that naked weekly point of control, right next to your previous range point of control. There's multiple levels in here that we can be, multiple confluences that we can be watching in this resistance area. Oh, what's up, Mark Dutch? Welcome in, man. And Crypto Wanderer, welcome in. Good afternoon to you too. So I said it's not a sock, it's an oven mitt. Oh, sorry, wrong chat. Yeah, well, it sounds like it's a little bit better of a chat than your normal chats. So, no, I love you, Mark. Thank you for joining, dude. Let's check out some of the lower time frames. We'll go on to the 12-minute here. You can see we're bouncing from that channel midline, bouncing from the VWAP again, just continuing to kind of grind in this ascending channel structure. And honestly, I do think that, yes, we are seeing bear divs on a lot of the lower time frames. You can see this, that it's more regional here, but we are continuing to form bear divs, multiple drives of it on the 12-minute here. And really, the bear divs have been forming since right before we started this ascending channel here. Same with Market Cipher, or I mean NAMI here. NAMI's got those multiple drives of bear divs as well. And yeah, I just think that we are going to continue this this grind. Let's check the 6-minute chart. 6-minute chart here. Locally, bear divs here. Actually, yeah, even continuing on the 6-minute, you can see all this continuing to develop bear divs on the chart. And then that 1 hour bear divs. Now, money flow is topped out locally, just very, very locally here. It's topped out, and it is starting to curve to the downside on that 1 hour chart. So what we probably want to see is we want to see like just like we were looking on the daily time frame in the 4 hour, you want to see multiple hours. Let's actually go back to that hourly for a second. Multiple hours where this is kind of coming down steadily here, and not just going to see one of these push. But that's honestly about it for Bitcoin, guys. We have the liquidity just above us locally. I do think that since we're so close to that, we are going to come up to that, and you can see that liquidity ends right at about 115K, right where that 786 is resting above us. Let's check out our Model 2 heat map. Yeah, I think that we are going to continue coming up to grab that liquidity. Let's go to last week. What's up, Preparing for War? And Darren Does Things. Welcome in, guys. Much love to you too, Preparing for War. Yes, guys, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Which stream Dutchie would be in next, and it brought me here. Oh, is that so? That's really funny, Darren. You Googled which stream he would be in next, and he pulled up this one. Well, at least Google recognizes my stream. You know, I'm still very new to this and very small. So, oh gosh, that's a funny one. And okay, guys, real quick here, I do want to announce the partners of the channel. We do have BYDFI. They are a VPN and KYC free exchange. If you are interested in joining, offering 20% discounts on trading fees if you sign up using my affiliate link, and up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much volume you trade in those futures markets. And then I have partnered with BYDFI. They are offering a 50% deposit bonus if you deposit $100, and various 10 to 20% deposit bonuses depending on how much you deposit here. It's going to be running through till September 15th. But if you do deposit $100, I've partnered with BYDFI to create a Telegram group where I do post some of my trade setups and my analysis in there. It's been kind of slow lately because the market's been just being boring, and I'm really being patient and waiting for the levels to be hit. But if you're interested in joining that Telegram group, all you need to do is sign up with that affiliate link, deposit $100. That's your money to keep, your money to trade. You'll get the $50 deposit bonus. And then once you do that, there is a link in the description for the Telegram. Click on that link and then type in /verify in your user ID, which is this number right here, and it will automatically get you into that Telegram community. And once you're in, you're in. So BYDFI, first partner of the channel, main partner of the channel. Next up, we do have NAMI Trading. That is this indicator here, momentum and money flow indicator. I use it for entry and exit confirmations on my trades, or kind of to know, like we're looking at now, to know that, okay, some exhaustion is starting to come here. We're starting to see some bearish divergence. Now we can wait for our level to be hit here. But once it's hit, if we continue to see those bear divs, then it will trigger confirmation for a trade. So NAMI link is in the description to join, sign up, and purchase NAMI if you'd like to. Also, they are running a 50% off discount if you use my affiliate link. Divine50 is the discount, and that discount code's in the description. Next, we have MEXC, which is it did end, but I think they still have it open for you guys. And so it's just, you can get $30 bonus. They are offering discounts on trading fees if you sign up using my link. And then if you register KYC, you can get an extra $10 immediately. If you deposit just $100, you can get $10. You can get an extra $10, and that could be as simple as trading your $100 on 10x leverage. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be risking that whole $100. Still risk your 1 to 2% per trade. use proper risk management, but it's pretty easy to trade $1,000 in a day. So that's MEXC. And then lastly, we do have Bybit, one of the largest exchanges, most reputable in my opinion, and they're offering up to $30,000 in futures trading bonuses depending on how much you trade. All the links are in the description if you're interested in any of those exchanges or the indicator down below. And it's just a way to help the channel. So thank you guys. We'll get back to the TA now. Let's go ahead and we'll go into Ethereum really quickly here. Ethereum is actually pretty interesting. Let me just clean this up. I do think Ethereum is going to continue pushing a little bit higher here. What we had on Ethereum is we broke above this bottoming range. So primarily on Ethereum, let me zoom out first onto the 4-hour chart. We were looking at two ranges. We're looking at this range that goes back about a month, a little over a month. And this, remember, this upper range here is at the top of our macro pitchfork. Zooming out onto the daily chart, this pitchfork has really guided us in this entire push up here. And, you know, chop around for a couple weeks in the lower band, break up, chop around for about 6 weeks above the midline. But we saw that drop to the golden pocket and the anchored VWAP, broke up to the upper band, back tested that upper band, which also was where your value area high was, your macro value area high. We bounced from that area. So this is key that we broke out of a 4-year-long volume profile. This goes back all the way to May of 2021. So we broke out of the range that Ethereum's been in, the fair value for the last 4 years. And what used to be considered overvalued for Ethereum at 3,500 for the last 4 years, now recently was flipped to support and considered undervalued or a buy opportunity. And we're pushing up to the top of that pitchfork. Now that we're at the top of this pitchfork, the first time we hit into it, we did not take the all-time high. That was this area here. We did not take the all-time high. So you can see we had a small correction, came up and took the liquidity. And after taking the liquidity of the all-time high, we're breaking back inside that pitchfork and we're just chopping around for a couple weeks. So let's zoom in now and look at the 4-hour time frame. So for about a month or about 5 weeks now, we've been in this bigger sideways range at the top of the pitchfork. But even within that, we're forming ranges within ranges here. So we have this bigger sideways range, and this could be considered a sort of flat correction that we're seeing that still might continue to play out, or a more complex correction. But I do think that we're breaking above our small range. It's about 2 weeks now. We've been in this thing for about 2 weeks, this bottoming range, which was bottoming around your larger range value area low. You can see the value area low held many, many times throughout this couple of weeks. And we're pushing up, breaking above the point of control of both of those ranges, and even breaking the value area high of the mini range, the mini 2-week range. And so let's zoom in now more onto the 1-hour chart. You can see what happened earlier today on the CPI news. That's this big Darth Maul candle here. We broke above that value area high. Actually, this was what, before I talk about that, let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday, we attempted to break above the value area high, and then we had, you know, crazy things happen in the world. A lot of people said this started to dump right as Charlie Kirk was assassinated, you know, rest in peace, Charlie. But for whatever reason, it dumped back in the volume profile. You can see we did dump. We came down to the point of control. And since breaking above the point of control a few days before that, or the day before that, we hadn't back tested it. So we came down, we back tested it and flipped it to support, a very clear confirmed flip to support by pushing up. Now we're breaking above that value area high again, and we're starting to form a bottom and a range above that value area high, the very local 2-week range value area high. So, and this morning with the CPI, of course, we got that crazy volatility, instant volatility there, but we're overall holding this value area high. And I do think we are going to continue pushing up because we are so close to taking this liquidity of these semi-equal highs up here around 4,500. And even earlier today, you know, kind of pushed up very close to that. So in my opinion, Ethereum has a very high likelihood of continuing up to 4,500. If we do see a confirmed swing failure pattern of 4,500, I will look for the short. Actually, let's do this. But I'm only going to short that if we get the confirmed swing failure pattern, because there's a potential, like I talked about a couple streams ago, that we do see a bigger topping pattern, like a head and shoulders or a Model 2 distribution, where we come all the way up to this golden pocket, this box up here, which should be purple. But so if we see a confirmed swing failure pattern, I'll look for a short from here. It could be just that we're taking out the range highs. You know, we have our range lows, range highs of this smaller sideways range here. So it could just be coming out to take out those highs. If we do that like tomorrow or today, then over the weekend, what we could see is it might only be a scalp short opportunity. First, let me finish explaining this. So if we do form this bigger topping reversal pattern here on ETH, the area that we would do it at would be at the top of a major pitchfork, because oftentimes at the top of a major pitchfork, you don't just reject and go right back down. You'll form a range that lasts a while. And if that's going to hold as macro resistance, then you'll end up forming a topping reversal pattern, something like this, or distribution, and then you break down. So that's kind of what I'm going to be watching for. Now, that's the more bearish case scenario. The bullish case scenario, which according to Elliott Wave theory, we do have a high likelihood of continuing to break up to like 5,500, 6,000. But if we do break above, for now, I'm just trading locally because obviously it's been boring and slow and grindy. And if we come up to 4,500, like say tomorrow or even later today, and we SFP 4,500. So an SFP, a swing failure pattern, the way you trade that, as you're grinding up here, you'll pierce that level with the price action, with the candle. You'll get a wick above it, stopping out all the liquidity of the stops, the shorts that have put their stop losses above those highs. Once you take that liquidity, you fall back underneath. And the second you fall back underneath there, if you have confirmed a confirmed close underneath, some people wait 5-minute candle, 15-minute candle. You know, for me, I'll probably be looking at that 5-minute candle. As soon as you close below that, you can open up a short position. Your stop would go above wherever that wick is, that wick for the SFP of that last candle. And I would honestly be targeting at, I mean, the value area high would have to be a target to look at, and that's a scalp. So what we could see over the weekend is if we do come up here, say tomorrow, pierce that SFP, over the weekend, we can kind of form this bigger back test of this lower range here. And then we could continue pushing up to our next resistance up here, where it would allow the pitchfork more time to be in alignment with that golden pocket as well. And so if with this SFP short, of course, I'll be looking for it if it confirms. If it doesn't confirm, there's no trade, so don't take it. If it pierces above and kind of chops around in here, I'm not going to be taking that. I want to see a pierce and a drop below. But with that SFP, I'll be playing it as a scalp at first. Playing it as a scalp, expecting that this might continue to at least rise up to that golden pocket area. And we have to remember our overall larger bias on Ethereum is to push up to make new all-time highs. Okay, let me check this chat here. Yeah, auto spelling. Oh, what's up, False Prophet? Welcome in, man. And T&B Willow, welcome in. Yeah, we're going to look at AVAX, Tonka. We're going to look at AVAX, and we're going to look at a few of the meme coin, or a few of the big altcoins as soon as, like, I'm just going through Ethereum real quick. We'll go on to all the other altcoins as well. So, and honestly, guys, that's about it for Ethereum. Like, locally, I do think more upside is due. Now, we do have the bear divs. You can see here, lower highs here. We do have money flow bear divs on NAMI. Now, remember, when you have momentum bear divs on Market Cipher B, and you have momentum bear divs and money flow bear divs on NAMI, that is a really good confirmation for me. I've been testing this for about 4 or 5 months now, and it really is a very, very good confirmation. But if we zoom out onto the higher time frames, like the 4-hour, you can see that money flow still looks pretty dang good right now. And so, yes, we are forming bear divs here locally, but with that money flow still rising, I believe we're going to continue at least up to 4,500. So I am long on Ethereum on a very small scalp, just scalping the reclaim of that value area low, high, earlier today. And actually it was like right in here. I longed like right in here, and my stop is not below this wick. My stop is below this wick here. And I'm going to be looking to come up to take out that high at 4,500. And then we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks, whether we get up to this area and reject from this area or not. Let's turn on our weeklies. Let's see. Yeah, we have some weeklies. I think, yes, that weekly above us. Dailies. And then let's look at our naked daily POCs real quick. So within this range, this is really what we're going to be watching for the naked dailies within this range. Oftentimes you will reject from those naked dailies in a range. Below us is one from a couple days ago, from yesterday. I'm not too concerned about that yet. I think that we're going to continue pushing higher. Of course, this is today, so it's not confirmed. And we're really clean all the way up. You know, there's not a lot of structure up in here. If we take out these semi-equal highs, then I do think we're going to push up pretty quickly to that golden pocket if we don't SFP the highs at 4,500. Okay, let's go on to Solana, and then I'll cover AVAX. Solana, real quick, guys. We've been talking about Solana coming up to 232 for quite a while, 232 to 238. And we did break above that golden pocket. The golden pocket was between 225. Not that one. Let's get. Where's the big one at? Anyways, golden pocket was between 218 and 225. And that was our non-log golden pocket. So I don't like using non-log golden pockets on such a big drop to the downside. If we pull that golden pocket here, you can see between 218 and 225. And we're breaking above it and we're maintaining above it. And Solana looks pretty good on money flow on the daily time frame. But if we zoom in onto the 4-hour time frame, money flow looks very healthy here. Yes, we are forming some local bear divs, but with a single drive of bear divs like this, if your money flow is bullish, you need multiple drives to start having that really play out. So we're above the golden pocket and we're looking to come up to our next resistance. What is that next resistance? Well, it is that monthly level. If we go out into the 8-hour chart, you can see that it is a monthly level, but it's also our 786, our log 786. So let me just go back a bit. If we take this same Fibonacci pole from the highs, from the all-time high to the lows at $96, we turn on our 786, but we put it on log scale like it should be because it was a 67% drop to the downside. You can see where's that 786 coming in? Right exactly on top of your monthly at 231.69, 231.56. And then we have that naked weekly point of control at 235. And we have a daily at 238 up here. So this next box is my next big box of resistance above us that I am interested in seeing a rejection. Now, the way I'm going to turn off these levels now just to clean up the chart. Now, the way, if we come up here, the way we've been coming up here is a bit concerning to me in forming this rising wedge structure that we are seeing here. And this isn't like an ending diagonal or a rising wedge. Oftentimes, towards the end of bigger moves, you will get that rejection. And if this is just going to be a bigger three-wave correction up after seeing this big push down here, that 786 is a common area to reject. Now, golden pockets generally more common, but that is the next big area where we could see a big short position come into play, a bigger short position. We are forming the bear divs on multiple time frames, and I'm going to be looking for that short. If we have the bear divs confirmed, I am taking profit on my long, and I will short. One of the things that I do think, though, within this box, the strongest level is going to be that naked weekly point of control, even above the monthly in the 786. So I do automatically right now have a limit TP set at that 231.6 level, but I am going to take some more profit at 235.4, where that naked weekly point of control is. And that's where I'll look to short. Or if we're coming up here and see a pretty bad reaction, then I'll start to look to short on a lower high on low time frames. I do think we're going to continue making it up there. You can see we bounced, we broke above that volume profile, this upper range volume profile that was about 10 days long. Back tested the bottom of the band, and now we're breaking above the band. So this area here is the area. I think that we could see something like this over the next 2 months. A rejection from here, chop around in the band for a bit, lose the band, come down to the midline, bounce from the midline, and then see a push up to the top of the pitchfork where our next big key resistance is at 250. And that would be really nice to see as well. Actually, let's just do this. So yeah, Solana's chopping around, looking pretty bullish, looking really strong right now. Solana, AVAX, they're looking really strong. And I think this push up is going to continue. But look we're getting close to our resistance, and we're getting close to our resistance with bear divs on the chart, money flow draining on the chart, money flow bear divs on NAMI on the chart. So I do think that soon we are going to hit into our resistance and possibly see a reversal. That's what I'm looking for. All right, that's about it for Solana. Let's go on to, we'll do AVAX real quick. Now, AVAX is very, very interesting. Let me zoom out to the 6-hour chart here. AVAX was struggling for a long time with this upper pitchfork band. You can see multiple rejections from this upper pitchfork band. But our last long that we looked at on AVAX was down here in this box. And, we had the swing failure pattern. We had liquidity resting down here, which we didn't quite get the SFP. It wasn't a clean SFP, but it was our golden pocket level of support. We bounced from that golden pocket, so I'm going to delete this now. We saw a very nice push up from this. Did I delete the wrong thing? We saw a very nice push up to the top of our pitchfork band. That was a nice trade right there. And then we kind of grinded down to make another higher low, and that higher low was where a daily was at. I'm going to delete that box now. So if we zoom out onto the daily chart, you can see that that was that last daily, and I still haven't marked out here, but it's now tapped, so we can delete it. But from that bounce from the daily, we have now came up to the pitchfork band again. Let's zoom back into the 4-hour chart. We had a rejection from the bottom of the pitchfork band, made a higher low though, and now we're breaking above that pitchfork band, coming to the top of the pitchfork. Now, just like Ethereum, the tops of these pitchforks are very, very big resistances, and we could see a bit of some chop in this area for quite a bit and another big pullback. What I'm going to be looking for, because we just today, we came down and we bounced from the daily level, and now we're forming a range between the daily level and the top of the pitchfork. So I'm going to look for a bit of a range to form in here, but hitting into the top of that pitchfork, even if we come up in SFP, the high from earlier today, I will be looking for shorts actively on AVAX here. But I'm going to be looking for shorts not to come down and make new lows. I'm going to be looking for shorts to come down to our pitchfork band again and bounce. Now that we've broken above what used to be resistance, 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 I'm going to be looking for a flip to support. So if we do this, kind of break down here, I'm going to be looking for that flipping to support and then continuing up to our major resistance above. That major resistance above is that golden pocket. It's a lot up here. We have a swing failure pattern, an internal swing failure pattern up here. We have a point of control of our previous range, our upper range. This was from December 23 to really February 25, so 2 years long. We have a naked weekly point of control. We have a weekly level. We have a daily level, and our golden pocket, of course. At 35 to like $36. And I do think that if this pitchfork has been highly respected, you can see we kind of form this triangle in here for a few months. We're breaking out of it. And I do think ultimately we have a high probability of coming up to $35, $36. I just think we're going to get a bit of a pullback here first and then come up there. So I'm looking to short at right now. I have not shorted yet. I do not see enough to short. Like, let's zoom in onto the 1-hour chart. 1 hour, no real bear divs. No real bear divs. 30-minute chart. No real bear divs here yet. And just not seeing enough. Just not seeing enough to short, even though we're at resistance here. Not seeing enough to short. So I'm going to wait. And if we do keep grinding up and break above this, then I'm going to flip that locally to support. I think we're going to come up first to that golden pocket. And in that case, we can just wait. Be patient and wait for those dips to form around your macro resistance above. Okay, yes, okay, now that's AVAX. We'll check out CRV. Yeah, Link, we'll check out Chainlink, we'll check out CRV. Money flow still looks pretty bullish here on AVAX, and I don't know if there was news that pushed this up. Like yesterday's candle was a really nice daily candle. Let's go on to the daily chart. Very nice daily candle there on AVAX yesterday. But just, guys, be aware, when we hit into the tops of these pitchforks, we really do, and it's not going to be necessarily super clean. Like, you don't get a super clean rejection like always. Sometimes you get something like this where it kind of, you see some wickage above it for a day or two, wickage above it for a day or two. Sometimes it's very clean like this. But I mean, very similar to what Ethereum's doing on Ethereum's top of the pitchfork. Here, and then if we come up again, you know, form that topping reversal pattern and then see that bigger drop to 35, that's really what I would love to see. And I would take a super swing long from 35. But AVAX is at a big resistance. And if we do drop down, I'll be looking for longs. Dropping down to about $26, 26 to about 27 in between this band here, which would also be this value area high back test, depending on how, I mean, it would be a little bit below it. We could also pull a bigger range. This big drop here was that Sunday in February where XRP crashed like 46% in a day, and we saw that. But if we look at this bigger range, this is almost like a bottoming accumulation range. So we had our accumulation at the bottom, right at our 1-to-1 Fibonacci target, by the way, our bigger correction target. Oop. 3-wave move down, hitting into your 1-to-1 perfect, seeing, after hitting into your 1-to-1, seeing an accumulation form here, starting to break out of that accumulation. So this actually could even continue way past the golden pocket. We could continue much, much higher up here. But AVAX breaking out of this value area high here that was acting as resistance the past few months. Supported candle to the upside, a nice impulsive candle to the upside, is very good sign. So that's why I'm going to be looking for longs as we come down, back testing that value area high. And because we're at the top of the pitchfork, and we have this big imbalance that was created yesterday in this daily candle, oftentimes you'll fill in those imbalances. So what I'm going to be looking for is that kind of range in here, a drop to back test what used to be resistance for the last 3 months, now as support. Once it's back tested and confirmed as support, now we work our way up to the golden pocket. And maybe even after rejecting from the golden pocket, we bounce from the golden pocket from this low to this high, turn on that golden pocket, bounce from that general area, and then continue even higher, continuing to break, have your expansion within this area. We had accumulation, now we're looking for expansion. So that's it for AVAX. No shorts right now locally, even though we're at resistance, for me, personally. You could even just pull a range here, trade the range. I'm not interested in it yet. Okay, on to, let's check CRV real quick for Archie. It's been a couple weeks since I've checked CRV. But CRV did bounce from the bottom of our descending channel that we looked at. We didn't quite come down to this golden pocket, which was a little bit of a shame there. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. This is old. So CRV is still chopping around in this descending channel. Now, the big thing with CRV is we lost the value area high. And you can see we formed that head and shoulders reversal pattern, or a little bit of a distribution pattern up here. And the key here was the break in market structure. So you had your low, your high, and then you broke it, creating a lower low. So because we created a lower low by breaking these daily lows down here, we were looking for a lower high at the golden pocket area. And if you got that, then you would say, okay, now we have a higher likelihood of breaking this topping reversal pattern to the downside. So we did break it to the downside, but we bounced at the bottom of our descending channel. Now, remember, when we form these descending channels, these are corrective channels. After a big impulse, you'll get a corrective channel. Now, bouncing from the bottom of that corrective channel, we would expect to come up to the midline. Yesterday, we came up to the midline, or the last couple of days, we came up to the midline, and now we're flipping that midline today to support and continuing higher. So I think that CRV does look like it's bottoming, and even locally, you can see this bottoming reversal pattern. Left, head, right, whatever you want to call it there. That bottoming reversal. And now we can look for coming up to the top of the channel. Let's pull a fib from the second pivot of the channel to the lows. Okay, top of the golden pocket is going to be above the top of that channel. Now, here's the thing with this, guys. If we break out of this channel, yes, you could reject from the golden pocket above. We do have internal liquidity resting there. And anytime you see those liquidity grabs into a golden pocket, pay attention to it at 94 cents. That could be a rejection area. Now, if we're breaking out of the channel, though, what I would look for is a rejection from that area, a back test of the channel, and then the squeeze up to sweep all of this liquidity that's built in here. And finally come up to that weekly at 120. We can also pull our volume profile of this entire descending channel. Yeah, I think that this 98-cent area is going to be a tough nut to crack here. If we pull a golden pocket from the highs of the channel to the lows of the channel, that golden pocket is going to be right there. So major resistance is about 99 cents to a dollar, 98 cents to a dollar. I would say this guy here with our large range value area high, our medium range point of control, and our golden pocket retrace. In this area here. Very, very locally, we're below the value area low of this range, so we do need to watch for a rejection, and this will actually be kind of in closer alignment with the top of the channel. I don't think this thing is going to go I don't think we're going to go straight up here like this. I think we're going to continue this slow kind of grindy chop until we hit the top of the channel, which would be in confluence with that value area low. And if we're going to remain bearish, because we are underneath the bigger value area high, if we are going to remain bearish, then that could be a rejection point as well. So let's pay attention to 86 cents or 86.37 or 86.4, let's say. If we break 86.4, I think we're shooting up to 94. And then if we break 94, we're shooting up to $1. Let's take a golden pocket from our last big 4-hour highs to the lows. Yeah. Okay, that definitely. So we have our levels of interest now. And let's actually turn on some naked daily points of controls to see if we have any of those in there. But we have our 3 golden pockets, and all golden pockets are aligning with key liquidity levels or volume levels. And remember, volume and liquidity is what's most important in this market. Let's check out our naked weeklies real quick. Okay, nothing really. Let's see. But there's a big gap in the visible range volume profile and might shoot straight up to the low 30s, low 40s. Oh, are you talking about on AVAX? Or, I'll check that out in just a second. Yeah, I'll check that out in just a second. A big gap in the volume profile. Yes, I understand there's a gap. There's probably a gap in that volume profile that could shoot us up there. Let's zoom out onto the daily. I mean, I don't know how far you're pulling your visible range. Your visible range volume profile is going to measure the volume of everything that's visible on the chart. So you could make it like that. You could make it, but like this was a clear range that we had up here, a very clear range that we had up here. Now we formed a very clear range underneath that range. So if we start to break back in this range, which we have now, we're starting to break back in it, you can expect to push at least up to the POC. If you break that POC, which is your major level, then yes, you can expect to fill that. You can expect to come back to the top of this range. So yeah, you could fill that gap that's in there, but this is still a big resistance. And with it being a multiple confluence of resistance, we need to pay attention to it because it could reject from there. Now, it could be as simple as rejecting from there at the POC just to come back down and backtest that value area low, which would be right where that pitchfork band would be, and then continue pushing up here. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a complete reversal, but that would still be a nice short from $36 or $35 all the way down to 27. I mean, that's a big move for a trade. Okay, let's get back to CRV real quick. So for CRV, we have our levels of interest on the chart. The back test of the value area low of this range that we've been in for a couple months now, since what is this? July, since the mid-July. If we come up to 86 cents and we reject 86 cents, I expect us to continue moving down. And honestly, we're probably going to continue in this grinding channel. We don't have much in here. Let's see, do we have any nice order blocks? We do have an order block in here down below. So we might come down to the next big order block. You know, it would be in alignment with the bottom of the channel if we reject. But then that daily time frame, the next daily level is not till down here. And that daily order block down there actually is looking very juicy. Just this daily level with that daily order block looks very, very juicy. To me, this could be, I mean, I don't like to say a bull flag, you know, a bull flag breakout all the way up to, you know, $1.55, but you know, it could be. Let's see how. Where is it at? Trend base fib time. So we'll go from the bottom of the the pole to the top of the pole, and we've broken past the 1-to-1 fib time. So generally in a bull flag, you want that flag to be no longer than, well, the 2-to-1 is like the max of the flag. And it's probably invalidated as a bull flag. So we are actually at that 2 fib time right now, and we're breaking up pretty nicely. It could happen, and you can see the 1.618 was about the bottom, and that is a golden ratio there. So yeah, it could be starting to break up. I think that CRV is going to continue moving up locally, bottomed out on the momentum wave, and money flow looks pretty steadily consistent here. Even though we've been dropping in price for the past few months, money flow is overall still kind of staying steady here. And what the heck is going on here? I think that CRV is going to continue up. So 86 cents. I'm actually going to set an alert right there. We'll add an alert on that. Okay, there you go. So that's CRV for you. Now, if we start to drop to the downside on CRV, well, we're holding above the channel, and we back tested that channel today, which is really good. Money flow looks really bullish here on Market Cypher B on the 4-hour. Potential bear divs forming, and actually Nami has already got those bear divs kind of forming here. Money flow's draining on here. I would watch for this local SFP, or even this guy actually here. Let's pull this bottoming range locally. So this is a local bottom range. We're breaking above the value area high of the range. So there's two things that could happen very, very locally. We could SFP the highs from last Tuesday and then drop. But this high is really the lower, this bottoming range. That's the high of this bottoming range. So, you know, SFPing that 83.8. To me, it's not very likely. I think that we are going to continue up to 86. And, well, this is going to be your major test at 86. Because if we do come up there and reject, then at the very least, we're probably going to form a bigger sideways range in here. In a more bearish case scenario, you reject from that, and then you really dump way back down even potentially to 61 cents. Let's check out our 2-day. Yeah, 2-day money flow is bottomed out. And yeah, no bull dibs here, but on the 2-day, but money flow is bottomed out here. Let's check our weekly. It's not the best looking, but at least it looks like this zero line could act as support and we could start to push up again on weekly money flow. So that is it for CRV. We're breaking above the local value area high. You can see this morning we back tested that point of control, breaking out. I'm going to check the low time frames to see if we could see a potential SFP. I don't think so. I'm talking about an SFP of last Tuesday's highs. I don't think we're going to see an SFP. We're not really seeing any bear divs on the chart. We'll set an alert here for during the stream. If it does do an SFP during the stream, then what we could look for is the little SFP just to back test that value area high again. And because we haven't back tested it since breaking out of it today. Okay, that's it for CRV. Let me check the chat here. Oh, you're long, Travis. That's a nice long, dude. 76 cents. Let's see. That's nice, dude. That's around that POC, a little bit below that POC. Really right in here. It just entered the weekly fair value gap and seems to be holding awesome on AVAX, that weekly fair value gap. Yeah, look at this giant fair value gap here that we've got on AVAX. Like right in here was a fair value gap. Well, actually, I can just turn on the fair value gap tool. Yeah, fair value gap right in there. Very nice. According to this tool, though, Mark, it's actually not entering it quite yet. We're actually rejecting from it at the top of the pitchfork. That's very interesting. If we start to get accepted into this fair value gap, you'll often come up and at least fill half of it. And you can see that line right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I have this indicator where we do often reject from a half fill of the fair value gap. But if we enter it, we can expect a fill of it, right? And guess where it ends? Right at that golden pocket that we talked about. But if we reject from it, then you expect to see a drop down to support, and then we can make another attempt at filling it. So very interesting. Bags of Arrow, CRV, Chainlink, Ondo. Oh, let's do Chainlink. I'm sorry, I forgot about Chainlink. What's up, Samuel S? Welcome in, man. Life sucks and I'm not lazy. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. I think you're pretty good, Mark, because you're always on the mod move, you know. Okay. Chainlink, not Chain, yeah, Chainlink is attempting to break above. Now, earlier today, Chainlink was looking a bit bearish, but look at, we bounced from the point of control. Let's shift that point of control. It was right down here earlier today, and we bounced from the point of control on that little bit of a wick that we saw. We're attempting to break above this midline. So Chainlink rejected. I believe it was a naked weekly point of control that was up here. There was something that was up here that we rejected from. not going to go back that far. But yeah, there was resistance we rejected from at 28, and now we're losing our pitchfork midline again. And you saw the last time we tested it here, we rejected, we made a new low. But if we can break above this and close this daily candle above the pitchfork midline, let me turn this off, above the pitchfork midline, then I do think we are going to push up to that 27 or 25.7 area, which is the golden pocket. We have some liquidity. We have the value area high of our upper range. The thing I don't like about Chainlink overall, yes, it does, breaking back above this midline will be nice, and we could get a much larger move to the upside, but we are forming very, very big regional bear divs here. Look at these bear divs that could be forming on the 12-hour. Money flow draining out here. I mean, that to me is a bit scary. And let's go to the daily. See those daily bear divs, money flow draining out consistently. It doesn't mean that we can't make one more high and make another drive bear div, right? We could do this and have our third hump and have money flow finally continuing to drain out, coming up to even $35 up here. But we are starting to see some big warning signs on Chainlink of a bigger, longer sustained correction to the downside, or a dump to the downside, I should say. But on Chainlink, we have our range, this upper range here. We broke back inside our volume profile. We back tested our volume profile, and now we're attempting to get above this midline. The last few days, we've really been rejecting from the midline. We're breaking above it now today, and if we can, and money flow looks bullish here. So if we can maintain above this midline, then I do, and close today's daily candle above this midline, I think we're coming up to that $25 area. There's not much else in here to keep us from not coming up there. Let's see if there's a naked daily. Yeah, no naked dailies on the way up. And we have that weekly that's up there as well at 25.8. So we have our weekly level, we have our golden pocket, we have our value area high, all sitting up at that 25.8. There is a daily level at 25.17, and that could give us a little bit of a rejection first, but I wouldn't expect much from that. Like, you know, a pullback, but overall for the trend to continue, this trend here to continue. And once again, guys, dominance is dropping. So Bitcoin rangy or like, you know, slow grind to the upside. We'll see alts kind of take off here. Naked monthly. Okay, that naked monthly is something that we do need to contend with for sure. Ooh, yeah, that there, you know, naked monthly points of control are so strong. And with that naked monthly point of control sitting there, let's pull our fib again. But let's pull it from this lower high to the lows. Okay, golden pocket's going to be below that. Interesting. That 786 is going to be where our daily's at. 786 daily. So that could, we do need to be aware. Couple levels, couple intermediate levels of resistance. Our big resistance is this purple box above. Weekly golden pocket value area high. Bouncing from the POC, back tested the POC today, back tested the POC. But honestly, I mean, like 25.7, 25.8, that's where it's at. Okay, then yeah, we're starting to really kind of squeeze up here. This is, look at that money flow here. Money flow looking good. So I do think Chainlink is going to continue pushing up. I want to check out dominance real quick. Is dominance just tanking right now? Not really tanking, but if we start to lose this channel, I mean, we're going to see probably coming to take out and sweep these lows here. But we're going to see the altcoins really start to push, and I would expect to come down to that 786. So remember, on dominance, if we zoom out here on dominance, we lost our golden pocket. Like this golden pocket was, we bounced the last major bounce we had on the last major drop in dominance. We bounced from our weekly midline. This is a channel midline. We bounced from that channel midline and we got back within our 2-year trend. This trend goes all the way back to March of 2023, more than 2 years. And once we lost that channel, the big ascending channel, now we're going to be looking for, well, first we had the break in market structure on the daily. We came back up in the same sort of this structure we saw right up here, rejected it, and then we had another big drop to the downside. So now are we looking at something very similar? The big drop to downside, trying to reclaim the golden pocket, which was, it didn't hold the support. We busted straight through it. Now, if we reject and lose this channel, I expect to come down to the 786, and then potentially even losing the 786 and coming down to test that midline again. So it could be a fun couple of weeks for the altcoins. And it's interesting because we're making higher lows here. We would have nice divs if we were making lower lows, but we're not. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, we'll check out Ondo. Oh, okay. Thanks, Mark Dutch. Mine's a dynamic indicator, not static. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. We probably are in it. You're right, Mark Dutch, because once you start to fill that fair value gap on the weekly, it will gray out. So we probably have started filling it. Let me do this. Dang it. Let's look at NAMI's fair value cap. Not that one. So guys, NAMI is also really good because NAMI, when you purchase NAMI, you get not just the bottom indicator here, the momentum and money flow indicator, but you can it puts it into giving you the actual stuff on the chart, very similar to like Market Cipher A. And then it also, you can get NAMI Pro here, which gives you fair value gaps. It gives you breaker blocks, all these different things, which is really cool. But yeah, we have this fair value gap in here. You can, it's kind of hard to see on the chart, but we have started filling it. You can see that we have started filling that. Actually, I don't know if we have. Either way, we're at resistance, guys. Be aware, we're at resistance right now. And this range, range forming. It would actually be really nice to take out these small range lows that we did earlier today and then come up and take out the highs and form like a head and shoulders pattern. Because if you take out the lows, that's now an officially low time frame break in market structure, right? 15-minute chart. You have that low time frame range and you break market structure bearishly by breaking those lows, the lows of the range. Because you broke the lows, took out the liquidity of the lows, you could even look at taking out this little liquidity down here. Come now, take out the highs of the range, and then form a bigger topping reversal pattern. Ondo. Okay, Ondo. Ondo's breaking out of the channel. Very interesting. So Ondo was in this descending channel that we were looking at. We did bounce from the naked weekly point of control down here. And after bouncing from the naked weekly point of control, we broke back inside our volume profile, back tested the value area low, and now we're breaking, we pushed all the way up through the value area high, breaking that value area high. So this, let me just, breaking the channel too. So I expect to come up and sweep this high. There's not much resistance. There is this daily that we're at right now. So be aware we're at a daily resistance, or not. We haven't quite hit it yet. It's just above us at 107.68. So if we do reject from this daily, I would look for this. So if we come up here, reject, then I would look for a back test and continuation. Money flow looks very good here. Yeah, some of these alts are really starting to pop. And then remember, anytime you break a descending channel like this, corrective descending channel, then you're going to be looking at taking out the second pivot, at least the second pivot of that channel. It's a very high likelihood we come up and grab the liquidity of at least the second pivot, but a lot of the times you'll sweep the entire liquidity of that descending channel, that corrective channel. And since we are above the value area high, we're bullish. You know, we're breaking above it. You see here the last couple week or so, or couple days or so, rejected from the top of the channel, came down, but we were able to break back above today, which is very nice to see. And I want to close this daily candle above the 104.36, about 104. Close it above 104. And then I would be looking to come up. Let's see here. Let's zoom out onto the daily. We have this weekly up here. Let me take this. I'll have to check this box because that was pulled a long time ago. Okay, no naked weeklies. Do we have any naked monthlies? Nope. Just up here, we already have that marked out. And that's near your golden pocket. So this area of resistance is going to be a nice one at 132 to 138. That should be on log scale. Let's see. Yeah, fibs based off log scale. Okay, cool. Now, what Ondo looks like to me is a bottoming accumulation range, right? This is an accumulation range that's forming. Now, we have not, either this was tap 1, tap 2, tap 3 in a model 1. It's done, and now we're about to take off here in a big impulse to the upside. We want to look for a big 5-wave impulse to the upside. But there is a concern that this is not done for this accumulation range is not quite done forming yet. And if we do reject from taking the liquidity, or, you know, even coming up to the weekly, taking the liquidity of the highs of this accumulation range and then reject, there is a potential you could drop all the way back down to the golden pocket, and we'd pull our golden pocket from the lows to that weekly, and we would throw our golden pocket on there. And you could see, yeah, that box, of course, is already marked out, and it would just happen to line up with your bigger golden pocket if we came up there as well. And then you could see a bigger bottoming formation. Now, because this is on the daily time frame, that will take months, a few months to play out. But let's say this, if we do come down to this green box again, I will be looking for potential swing long opportunities on Ondo. And then, of course, we can look at our bigger volume profile here of this entire upper price action. We're above the point of control of that range. You can see the point of control, and the value area high is going to be right where that liquidity is sitting at. Okay. So $1.11 is going to be important. If we SFP this second pivot of the channel into that liquidity and then drop, yeah, that's going to be interesting. And let me pull a fib from the lows of the channel to the highs, from the highs to the lows. Let's see. Did we hit the 786? Yeah, we've already hit the 786 here. So because this 786 was already hit and rejected from, now we're going to pull our fib. That fib has already been used up. Let's just say that. It's not the correct terminology, but let's say that. So now we have to pull a fib from the second pivot of the channel to the lows afterwards that. Haven't hit the 886 yet. We're pretty much coming up into that daily right now. Yeah, just hit the daily. Okay, let's see if we don't reject. If we can get above this daily, we're shooting up to 111. probably pretty dang quickly, but I expect some sort of reaction here. No, I'm definitely not shorting this right now. Even though we're at our daily resistance, no way. No, money flow looks good. No bear divs here. Okay, big short just stepped in there. But instantly got bought up. Yeah, I'm not shorting this. We're about to see a short squeeze here, guys. We're seeing shorters trying to short this daily. And, you know, some 1 minute bear divs, but that's nothing. I think Ondo's about to squeeze up to 111. Yeah, Ondo's about to push. Dang, too bad I didn't catch this breakout. Look at this was a nice little channel, or I mean triangle here, broke out, coming up to 111. I think that 111 is going to be interesting because it is the SFP of the second pivot into our macro value area high. And then now that we're seeing this daily, I think we're going to squeeze up to here. If we reject an SFP for that, I'm just going to be looking to take it down to backtest the channel. Then I would look to come up to the weekly. Yeah, and then eventually even to 135-ish. Okay, please tell me more, Steve. Yeah. Arrow is pushing up. We'll look at Arrow here. Looking for longs on Ondo, months out. Looking at an extended cycle. Yeah, Travis, I don't think, honestly, I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. I don't think the 4-year cycle is anymore. With crypto entering institutional, or with institutions entering crypto with the big spot ETFs and everything, I don't think it's going to trade quite the same anymore. Now, I also don't think there's going to be an altcoin season like like we saw in 2017 or 2020. I just don't think it. Now, a lot of the altcoins might pump 200%, 300%, but I don't think we're going to get those face melting rallies like we used to see. There's just too much dilution in the market as far as the amount of coins. And also, like, people know that 90% of these are junk. Like, not these ones. You know, the big ones are good. Layer 1, Solana, Ondo, AVAX, XRP. Let me check XRP. Okay. XRP is still really struggling with this guy here. Binance has been slowly, and guys, Binance has been one of the best performing assets in this market. It's one of the few coins that's made new all-time highs in this cycle. And like, now we are at a bigger resistance here. You see, we bounced from the bottom of the pitchfork, broke above the pitchfork band, back to the pitchfork band. We're coming up to the midline. I do think we are going to see a bit of a rejection if we come up to that midline again. But look at, I mean, Binance has just been killing it. Killing it. We're way above the previous all-time highs. This, on the weekly time frame, this wedge-like structure that is forming with bear divs here and then bear divs there. But money flow is still rising on the weekly. Once we confirm the weekly money flow bear divs, if we hit into this midline, it's about $900, I believe. I am going to be looking for potential swing shorts. Oops. 930, 928, 930. What was the other one? Oh, Arrow. Wait, was it? I don't think I've ever done TA on this, so we'll have to kind of start. Is there a better chart for this? No. It's about the same. Okay, we'll go with the Coinbase chart. Coinbase is always the best. Ooh, yeah. Well, this looks like it was a flat correction. See, you have your big three-wave push down here, and then you have a three-wave push up to take out the highs, and then you push down in your last push down. This overall was a flat correction, and if this is done, we want to see impulsive price action out of here. This could be a bunch of 1-2s, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. You know, a bunch of 1-2s can add up in here. Then you get your big explosive third wave. Now, this is on a weekly time frame. That would be nuts to see a big impulse like that on them. Okay, let's check this out. We're coming up to the value area high. So this is the scary part about this. This has lost the value area high. We saw a bit of failed auction above the value area high. We've lost it, and now we're kind of grinding up slowly. So if we reject from this value area high, I expect this move to continue down in a bigger three-wave corrective move. And so what we can look at here, let's pull a golden pocket from our last daily low to our daily high. We bounced from the golden pocket. Okay, that's nice. Bounce from the golden pocket. Your 382 is going to be right around that value area high. Perfect bounce. Look at that nice bounce there from the golden pocket. The thing that I'm concerned with, let's check out our volume. Okay, it's not too bad looking, but as this ascending channel is forming here, let's see, we'll pull it up to here. As this ascending channel is forming here, we got to be aware that if volume is going lower and lower and lower, it's not too bad looking, but it, your spikes are kind of going lower and lower and lower here. This could be a dead cat bounce before continuing down here. We did take out the lows of the range. Like this can be considered an upper range here. This is your upper range. And so let's pull a small volume profile of our upper range, just like we did of our larger range. And we're above, reclaimed value area low, back tested it. We're above the POC. So I expect to move up. And let's check out that golden pocket again. Dang, it's not in a good spot. Golden pockets before the weekly and above the value area high of our small local range. That is going to be, not good fib confluence in there. So overall, what I would say with this on Arrow, be aware of that value area high coming in around 128.6 because 128.6, because if we do reject from that, it's going to almost be confirming re-entry back inside of this volume profile, and you could at least see a dump. I mean, I wouldn't be saying let's do a Fibonacci pull of this entire move up, which has been more than 100%. So upper 61% retrace, right? Because look at this is way more from here to here is not 49%, right? If you want a proper retrace of 61.8% on a log scale chart like this, then you need to take that fib and change it to based off log scale. Okay, that is your proper golden pocket. That's a proper 61.8% retrace. And in worst case scenario, you could be seeing a bigger 5-wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe bounce here. You see a big 3-wave move up, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to your value area low. Because if you find re-entry back within this big volume profile, you might fill it all the way to the downside. So be aware. And that if we do come down here, though, swing long position territory. I would say it doesn't. This is concerning how this volume is going down as we keep rising here. But your market structure is bullish very nicely. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So far, higher low. I'm just watching, going to be really watching that. What was that? 128.6. Yeah, 128.6. If you break above that and you break outside of this volume profile, like I think we're going to shoot up, and this weekly near these highs is pretty enticing there. And then we can also pull a fib. Let me get on higher time frames here. We can pull a fib from the highs to the lows. And let's see. Okay, that's good. Yeah, look at that's an 80% drop to the downside. So if it's more than a 30% drop to the downside, you want to have that on log scale. So let's put that, click that thing there. Yeah, and we did reject from the 786. Okay, you see that? We've already rejected from the 786 Fibonacci. And falling back inside your volume profile. It's a bit scary here. As far as lower time frames go, I do think that this thing is going to keep pumping to come up to that value area high, high at 128.6. But you could just chop around. Like we could see a small rejection from this midline. Kind of just come down, do something like that. And then you could even pull this range. I think we already did pull that range, but yeah. Okay, let's see. What's up, big deals? Welcome in, man. Oh, that sucks, Mark. You've had people talk crap about you. Like, why? You're funny, and all you do is be a good mod for everybody. Level up, you're being soft. Yeah, you do know you made it when you have haters, for sure. Of course, Michael. Okay, what can we expect, like, till date cut? Till the rate cut, I think is what you mean, in a zone and a pump after the cut. Well, I show clips. I actually so our rate cut is going to be next Wednesday on the 17th. You can see the FOMC rate cut is next Wednesday, and I think that we might see Bitcoin continue this grind up that we've seen on Bitcoin so far from the bottom. It doesn't look impulsive to me. It looks like a corrective relief rally, and before maybe continuing this bigger push down, right? But I think this corrective move can continue up to at least 116K, like 116.2 to 116.6, or potentially even up to our golden pocket naked weekly point of control, prior range point of control. What I would say is the rate cut is already baked in, right? A lot of people bake in these rate cuts ahead of time. So if we only get a 25% rate cut, a 25 basis point rate cut, then it could actually be a bearish catalyst for the market. A lot of people are expecting a 50% rate cut, or even I've even been seeing stuff of people are think a whole 100 basis points is going to get cut off. And if we only see a 25% rate cut, we might actually have a bearish reaction from that because all the rate cuts already been baked in. Like there's like a 99% chance or 93% chance. It keeps changing, but it's a very high chance that we're going to get a rate cut in September. And let's just say there is no rate cut for some reason. You know, we did have just CPI numbers come out this morning a little bit bearish. Inflation is just being really sticky. Let's say that Powell says, no, we're going to wait until November to cut rates. Then we definitely could see some bearish reaction from that as well. We'll just have, you know, we'll wait and see. Really, the news is going to affect things. And yes, rate cuts in general are bullish for risk on assets. You know, that is crypto. Risk on assets are, when it's easier to borrow money, people borrow money and inject it into the system. So yes, a rate cut is bullish for risk on assets, but if it's only a quarter basis point, like that's nothing. That's really nothing. And it's already being baked in. I'm just concerned as far as the technical analysis goes. We're technical traders first. The price is going to do. So all you can do, Elliott waves are one of the best predictive methods to find out, like as far as human psychology goes. Elliott waves are the best for what I've seen. But as a trader, we don't know. There's no certainty. We mark out the levels of support and resistance above and below, and we wait until the market comes to our levels. And if we have confirmation to enter a trade, we do. And also, you can hedge yourself. You can be short or you can be long from our macro support at the bottom. And then you could also be looking to hedge that long with a short from resistance and let them play out. Obviously take some profit on your long. Like this long position down here, we were expecting that. Not this guy. Where is that? I have it somewhere in here. We were expecting this bounce in here. We saw that it was our pitchfork midline. Let me hide this channel. And let's just zoom out on Bitcoin real quick here. The last time we came down to that pitchfork midline, you can see we got a multi-$1,000 pump. We had that 3-wave corrective move, hit that midline, and blasted to new all-time highs. Now we rejected the upper band, and last time we rejected the upper band, we grinded down to the midline. What did we just do? We just did a repeat of that, right? Rejected the upper band, grinded down to the midline. So now we're bouncing from that midline absolutely perfectly. And this is macro support, being the macro value area high of our 2025 price action, this entire volume profile up here of 2025's price action. And so as long as we're above it, yes, it is bullish. You know, what is happening is what used to be considered overvalued for the whole year of 2025, around 112K, 113K on Coinbase. Now we're breaking above it. We're in the process of back testing. Yes, you'll see a little bit of, it's not going to be perfect. It's a market. And then if it holds, you can expect to come up, continue pushing higher. And we are holding it, but the thing is this doesn't look like the correction is done. So we could see another drop down. Like I think that 105 level is very interesting. Let's go back to the Coinbase chart. 105 to me is very, very interesting because it is our midline of our Fibonacci channel. And this Fib channel, let me zoom out onto this Fib channel. We turn off these. It has really highly been respected for the entire bull market. And we pulled this channel based off of this low, this high, and this low. And every single major pivot in the market has been at this channel. But you can see that white line, that midline. Yes, there's been a little bit of wickage past it, but for the most part, the midline has really held. And that midline is coming in right at 105. And what else is there? Your anchored VWAP from the lows of your last major weekly lows. We're down here. Anchored VWAP's there. What else do we have there? We have a naked monthly point of control down there. So I do think that there's a potential that we see that. Is it guaranteed? No. I mean, could we bounce from this box and that's it, and we're gonna skyrocket from here? Yeah, absolutely, we could. That's was my original thought as we were coming down to this box. I said we really have to hold this box, or else we could see a much bigger flat correction in here, and then continue the bull market. But because we're bouncing from that for now, I think that it's still bullish. Bitcoin's looking bullish. And now we just monitor our resistances. And if we're coming up there, we look at taking the shorts from there. Let's see here. Yeah, macro is still bullish. Yeah, I agree. Macro is still bullish, 100%. Yeah, and Mark Dutch, you're right, dude. Our markets are kind of haywire right now because the world is in chaos, like war, all these different things happening, political turmoil, and markets are just continuing to kind of pump and be irrational. And then, they said that inflation was transitory back in 2020, and it's 2025, and it's still sticky. Recession could be here in the next couple of years, but we're bouncing from a nice support level. The only thing, guys, this to me, and just to me, actually, I know a couple of the really good traders that are concerned about this price action too. Andy, Coons, they're all concerned about this price action. They're the really good traders that I respect and follow. It's not looking impulsive here. And so when you bounce from a major support like this, you kind of want to see impulsive price action coming out of that. You're grinding down, boom, you want to see a nice big impulse out of this thing. And we haven't seen it yet. So are we going to create a bigger correction where it could even just be a flat where you take out those lows again and then push? You don't have to come down to 105. We also have some key liquidity. If we look at our Model 3 heat map and we go to the last month at 107 down there. Oh, I guess it's moved up. Let's see here. We had a lot of liquidity at 107. Yeah, see, coming down about 107 here, 106.8 is that liquidity, a majority of that liquidity below those lows, right below these lows. And of course, people that longed this bottom support, this box of support, they're of course going to put their stops below those lows. So it makes sense that liquidity, I mean, you don't need a heat map to tell you. Yeah, some alts will pump, most will go to zero. I completely agree with that. And if we do get a final blow off top, I don't think it's going to be a face melting blow off top like a lot of people are thinking. I personally don't think a lot of the altcoins are even going to reach new all-time highs again. Now, yes, the good ones, AVAX, Solana, Sui, already, Ethereum. I think a lot of the major ones are, but all these other coins that don't really have use cases are not going to make new all-time highs. I just don't see it. AVAX, okay. ETH is just kind of hanging around. Yeah, don't forget to TP. And here's the thing. Say you get into that long position on Bitcoin from down here. You TP at resistance. So, I probably would have TP'd at this anchored VWAP and from the all-time high, this anchored VWAP, because if the downtrend was going to continue, then you expect to reject from that anchored VWAP and kind of roll over and continue. Now we're above that anchored VWAP. We've been above it for 2 days now, and that's a bullish sign, meaning that we're probably going to come up to our next major resistance, right? And so now our next major resistance, I'll look to TP a little bit more. I'll also look to short up here. So now I'm long from down here, already taken a couple TPs, and then I'll short from up here, looking to bring it down. And no matter what, you're in a winning trade. That's the schlong that Jason coined, Jason Casper. And it's a good way to trade. And then that way it doesn't matter what the market's doing. You know, that's what's great about derivatives markets, shorts and longs, hedges. When can we expect that final blow? Like final blow of the bull market where the bear market starts, or final blow off top, like explosion up. And here's the thing, I show clips. It's very, very hard to predict time when it's going to happen. You know, yes, there is such a thing as trend-based fib time where you can use, you know, just like I showed you guys earlier with that bull flag, you can kind of look at trend-based fib time to get kind of time spots where there could be reversals as far as time goes, but it's really hard to predict when the time could come. Now, according to the 4-year cycle, which I don't think we're going to follow it this year, you know, October, November is the end of the 4-year cycle. So if we do, let's just say, for, you know, we do this over the next couple weeks, and then the last 2 months we push up to maybe like 130, 135 or something. 144 is a major target for me. And we push up to these highs up here, or like, you know, come up to the top of the channel again and reject, and it's November. I'm still, the 4-year cycle's never been wrong yet. Now, I don't know if it's going to continue, but if it's never been wrong yet, I'm going to keep it in mind. So if we're coming up to October, November, and we're continuing to see high time frame weekly bear divs on the chart, I will be concerned, and I will be looking to take profits on spot and look to, you know, get into potential swing short positions. But this is what's concerning to me. So this is the weekly chart on Bitcoin. Actually, let me go to my bigger chart here. The weekly time frame on Bitcoin. And what do we see here? This is the concerning part. Higher high, higher high, higher high. Your 2024 all-time high, your early 2025 all-time high, your recent 2025 all-time high. All higher highs. Now look at the weekly money momentum. Higher high, lower high, lower high. We have a triple drive of weekly bear divs coming up into major pitchfork resistance here. When we hit it in 2024, we saw a multi-month correction to the downside. We hit it. We this one here. Let me clean this up and I'll show you that. This one here, we formed a bit of a distribution range above it, but then once we lost it, we back tested it. You can see that one green candle in there. We back tested it, and then we distributed down. If we come up one more time and make another all-time high, coming up, to that 130, 145 area, and we're forming this. First of all, this is like an ending diagonal or rising wedge, which is a reversal pattern. Like it's starting to get exhaustion, and you're continuing to see something like this. Now we have 4 drives of bear div as we're coming up there. Like that is scary to me, and that means that yes, the bigger correction could be coming. Now I'm not saying we're gonna maybe drop back down to the low 70s and take out this low again. You know, maybe drop all the way back down to the bottom. High 50s, low 60s. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know, but we just keep it in mind as traders, and we mark out the technical levels, but we also listen to what the technicals are telling us. And right now the technicals are telling us that we are forming high time frame bear divs. Let's go on to the monthly chart. This is also scary to me. On the monthly chart, now you have to keep this in mind. Monthly bear divs take a long time to play out. But if we look at our monthly cycle for this entire market cycle, our entire bull market, we have now 3 drives on the monthly of bear divs. But also if we look at 2021's all-time high compared to this all-time high, we have bear divs forming from that as well, from our cycles. And money flow, now if you have a single drive of bear div like this with regional or local bear divs on the monthly, and money flow looks good, you're always going to go with that money flow. But now money flow is looking a bit toppy here and is looking like it wants to start to come down here. If our monthly money flow does start to really come down here, it could be signaling the end of the bull market. And that will take months. Remember, each candle is a 1 month. So it could, that could be another 4 or 5 months. Yes. Yeah, we are still living. So Mark Dutch, that's a very good point. 46% of the circulating money supply was injected in 2020. And now you've seen it in your lives. Everything costs more, and it's never going to go back down to what it was pre-2020. We have so much more dilution in the market, and all an injection of money is, it's a hidden tax on you. It's inflation, right? It's a hidden tax on you. So we have that hidden inflation. Everything's our money's been devalued so much, and everything's just worth more, cost more, excuse me. And we're never going to see, probably never going to see us drop back down to the pre-COVID stuff. And now that we have so much money injected into our system, that money does find its way into markets, into investing markets. And so, yes, that's why prices are so high. That's why prices are kind of continuing to push up over the last 4 or 5 years. But at some point, once you keep injecting money and devaluing, there is a big black swan crash that happens from that. Look at Venezuela, look at Puerto Rico, look at all these other countries that have had these things happen to them. So, and I'm not saying it's necessarily going to happen to the United States like those countries, but it's not good when you keep injecting money and devaluing your base currency. Now, Bitcoin is one of the best hedges against that, in my opinion. Gold and Bitcoin. That's it, and of course, real estate. But there's nothing, there's nothing we could do about that. We just trade the markets. We're small fries in all this equation, and we just try to make our 1% a day. We just try to scrape a little bit of money from the market every day and do our thing. Okay, no worries, guys. Yep. Okay, guys, I do gotta go soon. Let's see. Did I cover all the altcoins we wanted to cover? Say did break above this. You can see yesterday was acting as resistance. The pitchfork band, the lower pitchfork band, and I did say in the video from Monday, if we reject here, we could probably see a big move down. But if we can flip it to support, we're gonna move up to 34.35. Which is the top of the pitchfork band in confluence with the 786 and the value area high of our range. So I think SAY has a very high probability of continuing up to 34.35. Now, especially now today, after breaking above it, back testing it, I think we're going to fill that band and come test the top of the band again. Test the top of the band again. Chainlink. Yeah, Chainlink's not pushing nicely. I'm going to be looking up to that 25.7, 25.8. You will probably see some rejection, some pullback. I don't want to say rejection, pullback from these levels here because that is resistance. But the big thing to be watching here for me, this thing needs to break down. If this ascending channel breaks down, alts are going to push up against Bitcoin, and dominance is going to drop to 57%. Yeah, if you can't touch it, it's not yours. Well, gosh, I agree with what you're saying, but even if you can touch it, it's not yours. You can touch your house that you bought, and guess what? If you don't pay your taxes, the government's still going to come steal it from you. Like, nothing's really yours. Shoot, if you have, let's just say you own some, assets, and you don't pay, you have some sort of debt, the government will come seize it from you. Honestly, they can seize whatever they want from you. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to stream tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll check Sol real quick. Yeah. 3 p.m. Standard Time tomorrow. Sol, bottom line on Sol, I think Sol's going to continue pushing higher. Like, check this out. We're bouncing from the VWAP. We're just grinding up in this channel here, this very local channel. 231.6 is the 786, and it is our monthly level. So it's a 786. If I come in here, I turn on our monthlies. It's also a monthly level. So I really think that we're at least going to grind up to there. That's where my next TP is on my long. Now, 235.4 is that naked weekly. And I think that just generally within this box, and the daily is up at 238, but to me, the most important part of the box is this part of the box. And I think we're going to keep grinding up there. Money flow, look at your money flow here. Money flow looks very good. This might be a slow, arduous grind like it has been, so we might not hit it till tomorrow. But I do think, or maybe even, come Monday, we might chop around in here until Monday. But I think we're coming up to that resistance just above. We're so close to it. I think my ex-girlfriend was an asset too and couldn't touch it. Oh no, Mark. Oh no. That's the worst, dude. That's the worst. So yeah, Solana, I'm watching for it to continue. I'm still long on Solana, and we're above the band. Now, if we do reject from this monthly level, I'm still going to be watching for this small range. You can also see we have a daily level there now, and the pitchfork band is real close, and then we could continue pushing up to the top of the pitchfork. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Please hit the like button on your way out if you got anything. Thank you, Mark. I love you too, man. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you. Great questions. And Sudeep, thank you. Good night. Thank you for modding as well. Appreciate all of you for real. And I will see you tomorrow.